As if the MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives' obsession with holding committee hearings about Hunter Biden and showing Hunter Biden nudes during committee hearings, as if that wasn't embarrassing enough for the Republican Party, they're ready to just keep on doubling down and tripling down on making fools of themselves. Here's a new report from the MeidasTouch.com, a story we broke, that the House GOP will now be launching a formal investigation into Cassidy Hutchinson. Yes, Mark Meadows' former top advisor, who testified courageously before the January 6th committee and talked about the threats that Donald Trump has posed, Donald Trump's conduct during the insurrection. She stated publicly how ashamed she was to be a part of all of that. And now MAGA Republicans are doing the only thing they know how to do, which is attack her. Here's what we wrote on MeidasTouch.com through our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski. The Republican majority in the House continues to embarrass themselves, wasting time, energy, and resources litigating the grievances of Donald Trump. Now, they're doing it again by launching an investigation of former Mark Meadows aide Cassidy Hutchinson. Hutchinson has now been a frequent target of Donald Trump in his social media posts and traveling fascist circus events that he refers to as rally speeches. After her live testimony before the January 6th committee was absolutely devastating for Donald Trump and Mark Meadows. In many cases, Hutchinson was the only one in the room with one or both of the two men and provided critical testimony against both. Meadows has never once denied a single word of her testimony, and Hutchinson's honesty and courage most likely resulted in Meadows' cooperation with Special Counsel Jack Smith against Donald Trump. In comes MAGA Republicans from the House of Representatives. Representative Barry Loudermilk, MAGA Republican who represents the Northwest Georgia district that borders that of Marjorie Taylor Greene, has announced that the Oversight Subcommittee, fresh off Marjorie Taylor Greene whipping out those nudes of Hunter Biden and Nancy Mace saying Hunter Biden has no balls, as Marjorie Taylor Greene showed photos of the balls as Hunter Biden was literally in the room saying he was going to testify. MAGA Republicans now launching an investigation into Cassidy Hutchinson. Loudermilk, MAGA Republican, says that he discovered that Hutchinson waived her attorney-client privilege in writing with her first attorney in order to provide testimony to the committee. That's how they attacked the January 6th committee, because the Republican Party is pro-insurrectionist. How strange is this, that the Republican Party has become a pro-insurrectionist party? Anyway, so now they're going after Cassidy Hutchinson. Here's what Loudermilk had to say on one of these right-wing media shows just a little bit ago. Play this clip.
They had people change their testimonies. And that's what it appears happened with Cassidy Hutchins. Her first three depositions were totally different than her last two. And we found, as we talked about on this in this program, we found an errata sheet, which is for minor technical changes. Hers were substantial changes to change her testimony to match her sworn testimony to match what she said in public. The interesting thing about that, she changed attorneys during that time period. And so part of the issue is we've only been able to listen to what Cassidy Hutchins said of why she changed her testimony until this week, when we found that she had actually waived her attorney-client privilege with her previous attorney, Stephen Passatino. So now this opens up for us to hear from him, his perspective of why Cassidy Hutchins suddenly changed her testimony from Trump wasn't coming to the White House to the point of where he's trying to jump over the front seat of the beast to take control of the steering wheel. That's pretty significant.
And folks, this isn't like breaking news material right here. As CNN previously reported, Trump's former White House ethics lawyer told Cassidy Hutchinson to give misleading testimony to January 6th committee, sources say, referring to Stephen Passantino, who was being paid for by the Donald Trump Political Action Committee at first to represent Cassidy. She then got her own independent counsel, got rid of Stephen Passantino, and then her testimony conformed with the truth. Now, Stephen Passantino denies that he engaged in any obstructive behavior. He says that he didn't tell her at all, but her testimony went from she doesn't remember, as we've seen with lots of these MAGA Republicans, to no, here is actually what happened when she had independent counsel not paid for by MAGA. And here's what the CNN article says. The January 6th committee made a startling allegation on Monday. This was from December 21st, 2022, claiming it had evidence that a Trump-backed attorney urged a key witness to mislead the committee about details they recalled. Though the committee declined to identify the people, CNN has learned that Stephen Passantino, the top ethics attorney, that's ironic, and seems like ethics and Trump wouldn't go together at all, but looks like it doesn't. The top ethics attorney in the Trump White House is the lawyer who allegedly advised his then client, former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson, to tell the committee that she did not recall details that she did. Sources familiar with the committee's work said. So let me get this straight. MAGA Republicans, rather than focusing on issues like higher wages, infrastructure, focusing on protecting our veterans, supporting our troops, protecting Social Security. Well, the MAGA Republicans want to get rid of that, making healthcare affordable and accessible, lowering prescription drug prices, actually taking on the deficit. MAGA Republicans added $8 trillion of debt while Donald Trump was in office, rather than dealing with actual issues facing the American people, which Democrats at least want to address, as President Biden at least wants to focus on those issues. MAGA Republicans are spending their time on Donald Trump weirdo loser witch hunts. What are you doing? It's just the behavior is so utterly pathetic that did they think they did such a good job showing Hunter Biden's nudies that now they got to go on to try to torment Cassidy Hutchinson for Donald Trump, that's what they want to do? Sleep is the foundation of our mental and physical health. When you are sleeping well, you can perform at your best mentally and physically. Proper sleep can also increase focus, boost energy, and improve your mood. Introducing Beam's Dream Powder, a science-packed healthy hot cocoa for sleep. If you know me, you know that Dream has been a game changer for my sleep. Sometimes I find myself up at night in bed with my thoughts and uneasiness. Well, that was the case until I started drinking Beam's Dream Powder. Prior to Beam's Dream Powder, the poor sleep and late night staying up really affected my mood and energy, but not anymore. And today, our listeners get a special discount on Beam's Dream Powder, their science-backed healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar. Now available in delicious flavors like chocolate peanut butter, cinnamon cocoa, and sea salt caramel with only 15 calories and 0 grams of sugar. Better sleep has never tasted better. Other sleep aids can cause next-day grogginess, but Dream contains a powerful, all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, melatonin, and nano-CBD to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. The numbers don't lie. In a clinical study, 93% of participants reported Dream helped them get better sleep. Beam Dream is easy to add to your nighttime routine. Just mix Dream into hot water or milk froth and enjoy before bed. Find out why Forbes and New York Times are all talking about Beam and why it's trusted by the world's top athletes and business professionals. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Meidas and use code Meidas at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/MEIDAS and use the code Meidas for up to 40% off. And now, back to the show. And just a reminder for you, here is Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony before the January 6th committee about Donald Trump lunging to grab the steering wheel that the Secret Service was driving, and tried to assault them because he wanted to go to the Capitol and be greeted like Mussolini or Napoleon or something. By the way, didn't end well for either of them. Here, play this clip.
Once the president had gotten into the vehicle with Bobby, he thought that they were going up to the Capitol. And when Bobby had relayed to him, we're not, you don't have the assets to do it. It's not secure. We're going back to the West Wing. The president had very strong, a very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
And here was other testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson saying that Donald Trump pled with the Secret Service to let his people in. Play this clip.
Something to the effect of, "Take the effing mags away. They're not here to hurt me. Let them in. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol after the rally's over. They can march from the ellipse. Take the effing mags away. Then they can march to the Capitol."
And Cassidy Hutchinson, a lifelong Republican. This is not a leftist. She's not a progressive. She's not an independent. She's a Republican. She just has firsthand knowledge of Donald Trump's gross, egregious, and treasonous behavior. She observed it. And she's part of the pro-democracy community. She's just not MAGA. Not meant for MAGA, this MAGA chaos and fascism. She ain't for it. She went on the Jen Psaki show. No doubt that pissed off Donald Trump, so he ordered Louder Milk and Comer and Jordan and Marjorie Taylor Greene and this whole crew go after Hutchinson. This is what you need to do next. But here's what Cassidy Hutchinson said on MSNBC. Play the
I know you've been reluctant to say who you're going to vote for, but are you leaving the door open to voting for Joe Biden if it's between the two of them?
I will say my door is completely shut to voting for Donald Trump. And the only reason that I will not endorse a candidate right now is because I still am hopeful that Donald Trump does not end up being the nominee next year. I think our country will be in a much better place overall, not just for myself, but the ticket and the future of our country will be. But what I will say too, though, is I think everybody should vote for Joe Biden if they want our democracy to survive.
By the way, Cassidy Hutchinson's provided some great data points as well regarding Donald Trump's intent and mindset. She spoke to Kevin McCarthy, and Kevin McCarthy would tell her, "I talked to the president," this is when Donald Trump was in office, "I talked to the president sometimes, and he admits that he lost the election." So Kevin McCarthy knew that Donald Trump was, whining about losing, but then he would spiral back into, tell me that I won, because Donald Trump's a pathetic loser who needs to feel that way. And Kevin McCarthy, according to Cassidy Hutchinson in his deposition, said that Mark Meadows needs to give Trump better advice and just let him know that he is a loser. Then, of course, Kevin McCarthy capitulated. And look, the only person with courage here is Cassidy Hutchinson, and that's why Louder Milk and his ilk of MAGA Republicans are doing this. Shameful, predictable. But yeah, let's see what, I'm just excited for Jared Moskowitz and Jasmine Crockett and Jamie Raskin and AOC and Eric Swalwell and the Democrats to bring that firepower and hold another oversight hearing. Please do that. I dare you, MAGA Republicans. Hold another committee hearing. Bring Cassidy Hutchinson into a committee hearing. We'll see how that goes for you, okay? I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch and have a great day.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.